It's time for another Freebie Share Saturday. I know it's been a few weeks since I have done any Freebie Share Saturdays, but I'm back with another share, and this was one that I wanted to share with you several weeks ago. So this freebie was offered by Create with Scrimping Mommy several weeks ago. It may have even been last month. And so she offered this freebie, and I'll show you in a moment what it is. But to get started, we're just going to pull out some book pages, and I'm using encyclopedia pages. And then later on in the video, I'll also pull out some dictionary pages. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just adding ink to these pages, or paints to these pages. And I'm using acrylic paint. And then I'm also adding water to the acrylic paint to just kind of give a little bit different effect so that it's just not so thick on my pages. So I am using my jelly plate, but you could use acetate, you could use a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag. You could do this in many different ways. And just to get paint, or you could just paint with a paintbrush or brayer and put paint on your page. So what I'm doing here though is I'm just adding different color paints to my jelly plate, and then I'm adding water, and then I'm just putting my paper on and getting ink on the front. I keep calling it ink, but it's acrylic paint. I'm getting the acrylic paint on the front and back. And then you see here with my jelly plate, I also decide to just lay the paper on the jelly plate and then just brayer on some of the paint. And the only reason I used my jelly plate was because it just felt easier for me, less messy for me to just pull it out. And I really like playing with the jelly plate, even though I did not use it this time the way you're supposed to use one, adding different prints and things to it. I was just using it to add the ink to the acrylic paint to my pages. And you'll see throughout when I'm doing this that my pages get wrinkled and there's just different, it's not smooth. I want to have a lot of texture in these pages, and so what I will do later is we're going to add some more background to it. So I've just sped up the whole adding the acrylic paint to the pages, since really you can do this in any way that you want to. And I just wanted to show you a few minutes of me adding the paint to the pages. Now I am just trying to use colors that will match the freebie. So now we're going to take the little painted papers that we made, and we are going to add some background color to them, or background stamp into them, by using items that we find around the house. So I found a pill bottle lid that I'm going to be using, and this one has some ridges on it, so that's what I wanted to get some of that texture on here. I also have the bottle itself, so I will use that. And I'm looking around my room. I need some lace. I just have this little bin here, this little container here with scrap pieces, so I'll use some of those. I'll just cut a little piece off. Don't need a very large piece for this. So here we'll just start out and see what we get. So let's start out first just making some circles with our black paint. And there is some water added to this black paint because I was using it for splashes, so I'm just going to continue using it with the water in it. We just want to stamp on our pages. And this is, you can just go through your house and look for items that that you want to use. Just look for designs. I like circles. I go a lot for circles. Find things with texture on it. So here we got the, just don't want to get too much paint on that to do it because it's very thick. But see, you can just get some texture. I'm not going to use the paint that has water, because for that to really work out good, I think it needs to be just paint. But you want to lightly get the paint on it. You don't want it gobbed up. So I'm just tapping off, and then I'm just going to roll on different parts of my paper. And we're just trying to get some background here. And then for the lace, we just take a little bit of lace, dip it in the paint, and then you want to kind of smoosh it off on the side here. And I'm just using parchment paper here. And so then I'm just going to come in, and so you can leave a little bit of impression there. Just add some more background to it. And we're going to be folding these up, so we don't have to worry about it having a certain cohesive look for the whole page, because once it's folded up, it's not going to really matter. So we can and you can use these to restamp. You can just lay it down and keep smushing. Now your fingers will get rather dirty with these. This is a lot of fun. I love getting messy. Okay. And then once we have the stamping that we want, we can come back in with splashes. I'm looking around to see if there's anything else in my craft room that I want to use on the background of this. Now this is an oven mitt, or oven, I don't know if you call it oven, what do you call it? You use for the oven, and I bought this at the Dollar Tree. And the reason I bought it was for the texture on it. I like the design on it. So you can find designs in anything around your house, or like I said, at the Dollar Tree, you can add these in. Let me move this paintbrush over. So you just get some paint on it. And this one's good on using it on your gel plate. That's what I originally bought it for, is for my gel plate. I don't know if it'll work on this. Let's see here, if it'll work on this, just stamping it or not. It should. But you could also, there we go. You could also go through and use bubble wrap. You could use, just trying to think of household things that you could use. The edge of boxes do good. You can make lines on it. You can also, oops, let me get my splashes here. You can, just anything. Just think about texture around your house and find just whatever you can to add texture to it. I was trying to think, but I lost track of what I was thinking. But think of shapes, that things that has shapes. Oh, a comb. You can, if you had an old comb, you're just gonna, I would probably go ahead and designate that for my craft room if I put paint on it, because I'd be afraid that I'd get paint in my hair when I went to use it again. So you might want to designate for it. But if you had an old comb, you can just make lines on your paper. Just anything will print. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more white paint. So I'm adding black and white splashes to these as well. And then we'll make several different style pockets, I think. I don't think I'll do all the same style pocket. I hadn't totally decided. There's water in it. I think it'd be enough. Nope, it needs a little bit more water. So we just, I'm just mixing water and the white paint to make us some more splashes. And you can add as little or as much as you want to these. I thought this would be a fun way to make some pockets for our journals. You can make tags this way. I think I'm just doing all pockets today, but we will see. We'll see as I get going. I do want a little bit more black splashes up in here. Gonna have to get out some more black paint. Okay, so I'm gonna set that one aside to dry, and then we'll do the next one. Now when you pull your paper aside, you do want to look aside which side you want to be the decorated side. And so this one I didn't add anything to the back of it. Most of them I did add some colors, so we're just going to do this side. So I'm going to come in, probably going to have to add some more black paint onto there, but I'm going to use the lid to just make some circles around my paper. We'll add more black paint, and you can do just white. You could stamp with the white. I did one that way, but I prefer the black myself. I prefer the black paint in the background, but it's really up to you. And you can just do the half circle and just a little there, and then you can, trying to get, don't want a lot of gobbed up paint on that, so we can get that impression. I like that. It is quite messy. Oh, that was gobbed up. See, that's what I was talking about. We don't want to gob up the paint. So I'm just going to take some off and put it on my lace, and then I'll just keep doing that. Now that might have to be a pocket where we hide that big glob, because that is a hot mess. That's okay. We're just playing. Could even cut it off if we need to. So there we go. We just get some all over the page. And then we'll come in with our splashes. So this page, I was pulling off all the leftover paint that was on my gel plate, and so it's got all different colors that I was using that day. And I like that, to have the mixture of colors. And of course, I wasn't using my gel plate like you normally would, but you can use it all different ways. So I'm just going to do a few more and then we'll make some pockets. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and some of them are dry and some of them are still wet, so I'm letting them dry. But like this is one I made earlier this week, and I went ahead and folded it just to see what it looked like before I continue making more. And so I'll show you how I folded this one into a pocket. So I'm just taking the side that I want to be on the front, and I'm just folding the corner back. So just halfway, kind of halfway. I don't really measure, just halfway, and then I fold the paper in half. So then up here, this corner, I'm just taking and folding it down so it leaves about, about an inch or so here. And then we're going to fold the bottom up. And I'll show you that again in a moment with another one. But I just want to show you that one because I went ahead and inked the edges here just to see what it looked like. And so the freebie we're going to use this week to decorate these are some butterflies and some butterfly children from Scrimping Mommy. I will link it below. And for these, I'm going to be using some cutouts that I cut out of a, let me just pull them down here. So I cut some flowers out of some books that I had. So if you've got books you could cut images out of, you could do that, or you can download these freebies and use the freebies. Since this is Freebie Share Saturday, I wanted to share some freebies that you could use as well. But cutting up books sometimes is a freebie too, because you can find those fairly inexpensive and sometimes free. Now I do still have paint on my fingers, but I'm just gonna go ahead and craft, and then I'll wash them because I'm probably gonna get it. Some of them are still wet. So what I thought I would do is, she also has a freebie that has words, and I'll show it to you. It has some journal words in it, like vintage and special moments, precious memories, moments in time. And I thought about using these, but I didn't want to take the time to cut them apart, but she does have that, so I'll link to that as well. But I have these, and I love using these from Tim Holtz, and I have a couple of these packs, so I'd rather just use these up. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm just going to find a saying that I want to add to this one. And then we're going to add the little girl here. And let's try this one. I may could cut this one up. So I'm thinking of putting the little girl there. And then what if we put, it says live gently. I'll put that up here. And it says upon this earth. I like that there. And then we'll just add the little girl right there. So these are very cute. You get, let's see, 4 little children and 3 butterflies. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. 4 little children and 3 butterflies in this freebie. And then, like I said, you could also bring in images from books, from magazines. I don't collect magazines anymore or have any magazines. I used to. So if you have magazines, though, that would be perfect. And children's books, or I'm using like a floral type book. It has all different, it's kind of like a huge field guide. But it's not a field guide because you couldn't take it out in the field, but it's a big book about flowers and wildflowers. And so that's what I cut mine out of. I think that's very cute. And so then we have a pocket. Oh, I didn't show you how to glue the pocket shut. So what we want to do is just glue, once we have our pocket folded, we just want to glue along this edge here. So I'm just going to glue the bottom edge, just down the edge there, and then fold it up. And there we have a pocket. So you have 1 and 2 places to tuck things, and you do have this space back here to tuck things, but since my book page is so thin, I'm just going to glue that shut. There you have it. So that's one little pocket. Let me see if I got another one dry. Here's one that's dry. So for this one, I was thinking this little girl, when I was doing my colors, I was thinking about these and what they look like. And so I was trying to do colors that would match these little girls and also match journals that I have coming up. So we could do this same exact pocket, or we could do a different one. I'm just trying to think. Okay, for the next pocket, it's very similar, but just a little different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out by just folding about a 1/4 inch here. And I already done that on this one. So then on the other side, we're just going to fold in a 1/4 inch as well. And this is just thickening the edges up. And we will glue these in a moment. Okay, so then we want to fold it from, from top to bottom. We're going to fold it in half. And so then we can turn it right side up again, and we have our paper. So instead of folding in half this time we want to fold it where we can see the edge about 3/4 of an inch or so is sticking out from the edge there. And then we're just 1 inch to 3/4, and we're going to press that down. So we've got our pocket that way so far. Just get everything smoothed out. So then with this top corner here, we're just going to take it and fold it down. So hopefully that made sense. So let me do it one more time really fast, just in case it didn't. So you got your whole sheet of paper here, your right side that you want up, the painted side up, and then the words to the top here. You're going to, on each edge, you're going to fold down 1/4 of an inch. And let's go ahead and glue those this time around so we have them glued down. Because the reason for that is just to thicken the edge. Since we're going to be sliding things in and out of our pocket, I like to thicken it. So let's just press that down. We'll do this side as well. And then we just press. So once we have it like that, then we're just going to fold from top to bottom. We're going to fold the paper in half. Okay, so then we can turn it right side up again, and we're going to take and fold from side to side, but instead of folding in half, we want to leave a little bit of edge, about 3/4 of an inch, or you could even do 1/4 of an inch, whatever you want, sticking out on that side. Then we're going to take the top corner here and just tuck it inside there. And we can glue that down in a moment as well. And there we have our pocket. So now your wording is upside down here, so you could come in here with a piece of paper or anything and decorate this as well. I think I'm going to hold off until I know what kit I'm going to be using or what paper I'm going to be using for the journal, and then I'll come back with a piece, unless I look around and I can find one that matches this blue. But then we could just put the little girl here, and then we can find some wording to go with her. And this is a good one, trust your crazy ideas. And I'm going to do this one again, some above her and some below like I did the one before. So we're just going to put trust your at the top, and then crazy ideas at the bottom. And then we just glue the girl on. I thought about inking the girls around, around the little children, but the little fairy children, but or butterfly children, I can't remember what she called them. But then I kind of like the stark white, but if you wanted to ink yours, you could, if you wanted to make it dingy. But I like the white popping out. I'm going to see if this freebie will go with it. This is the freebie we did several weeks ago from, it was from Artie Mae. So you can look back. I'll try to link below to that video. Or I may just put a playlist below of my videos, the freebie videos. And that way you can go through the playlist. I think we made envelopes out of this one. So I'm just looking here. Take a little bit more off the edge there. Trying to see what this would look like if I just tucked it in there. I kind of like it. It's a little busy, but I think it'd be fine. Just tuck that in there. And then we need to glue our pocket shut. I didn't do that. So the first place we're going to glue is just along the bottom here. So you want to just glue on the short side and press that down. And there you have a pocket here. Then you have a pocket that you can tuck here. And then you even have one there. So you've got several little pocket spots. And if you wanted, you could put a different color paper in here so that it stands out more. You could also add some little flowers, or let's see, some lace to it. Maybe just add a little piece of lace there. I'll kind of like that. So we'll just run a little bit of glue along this first flap. I'm not going to glue it shut, but I'm just going to run it along this first flap, and then I'm going to add the lace there. Just dress it up a little bit more. But you don't have to add the lace. I try to make these videos, like I said in all of them, I try to make them so that if you're new to crafting and you have limited supplies, you could still do this. So the, you know, the painted papers are book pages. So if you could go to the library, a lot of times they have free books that they're throwing out, or they're a quarter, or sometimes, you know, you can find at yard sales 10-cent books, just any old books. These are old dictionaries and encyclopedias, but you can do anything. And because you're gonna paint over it anyway. We're painting over the colors, I mean the wording. But that's why I try to make it accessible that anybody could do this. But also, if you've been crafting for a while, you could do these and just try to get some inspiration going again if you're having trouble coming up with ideas. So I like that. I like that little. So then we'll tuck things in there. I wish I had something to show, but so you can tuck things there and there, as well as behind here. Now, if you wanted to, you could make this just a pocket, a tag pocket, and you can glue this shut. And I guess depending on what I decide to put in it in my journal is when I'll decide if I'm gonna glue it shut or not. But there we got the little lace on that one. And I will go back, I think, and ink this edge here. Since it's loose enough, I can go back and ink it. I'll ink the around the edges with black ink. But I won't make you sit through that. I'm afraid I may have lost a lot of you when I was doing the messy part, the paint part. So we've got this one, and it's got some ragged edges, so I think I might need to either fold that or tear it or cut it. And this little guy would probably go on it, but also this one would be pretty. I like this one on it. So trying to decide what kind of pocket we want to make. There's no color on the back, so we can't. Let's see. Let's just fold this in and get me a straight line here. Then I'll just add some glue. Because when you are using book pages like dictionary pages and encyclopedia pages, they are thinner paper. So anytime you can strengthen the corners or the edges, that's pretty good. So let's make this one that we made before. Let's make another one of those. So we're just going to fold our paper in half from top to bottom. And then let's open it back up though. We need to, I'm gonna fold it in half long ways as well, so I can just get a crease mark, and then there I get my crease, and then I'm gonna open it back up and kind of cheating and seeing which side I like the best. Okay, so then I'm just gonna fold this flap down. I'm folding it to the center line here, just right before the center line. And then there we have. You can see the difference it makes when you don't paint the back side. You'll either leave it that way or you can add some decoration to it. I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm not going to have the extra, like this one has 2 pockets. I'm not going to do that because I don't, let me see here. Well, I could, and then you'd have some of the paint there. That might be good. Let's just do that. So let's just fold this back. I like to look here when I do it and just eyeball about, you know, a straight line and about 1 inch or so, or 3/4 of an inch. I'm not really good with measurements. And just fold that down, and then you fold this back up, and we have the pocket. That way you have some decoration there too. And so I do need to ink the edges, but for this one to glue it, I think I'm just gonna make it a pocket here and a pocket here, and I'm just gonna glue this shut. So I'm gluing, hopefully I'm not going too fast for this. If I am, just let me know, because I can always come back and show you how to make these. I know a lot of people make these pockets, and so I feel like most of you know, if you've been crafting for a while, you know how to make it, but beginners, I wanna make sure you get it too. So if you have any trouble, also you can just keep rewinding and replaying until you get it. And to just slow it down. I think you can slow the videos down too if you need to. Oh, that one looks really good right there. I like that. And so we just gotta find a word. Let's see. How about not all who wander are lost? And we put part of it up here and part of it down here. That's just my thing today. Sometimes I do that. Let me see how I want to do. Not all. Sometimes I do that. I come up with a pattern, and that's how I just do them all similar. And that way you don't have to really come up with a new design for each one. You just kind of just can play. So there we're going to add a little butterfly girl, a boy. I forgot what's on here. I think this is a boy. think this is, yes. So we're just going to center them right there between the words. There's little wings sticking over just a little bit. I'm okay with that. Oops, pulled them down too far. Okay, there we go. So then I'll just, like I said, I won't make you sit through the inking, but I'll come back and ink with some black ink on the edges. And we'll do a close-up at the end. I'll go ahead and ink them and then do a close-up at the end. Okay, so we have this little fellow, and I'm thinking this color would look good with him. It's got turquoise and yellows and greens. It's kind of bright, but I think it'll look good with him. Or we can do a flower. Let's just see here. Okay, so for the next one, let's make a library pocket. So we're going to start out with our paper faced up, you know, the part that we want showing at the front. And this one is painted on the back, which is good because we need that to go with this. So then what we're going to do is just fold up however tall you want your library pocket to be. And then remember, you need some back sticking up from it. Then we're just going to take and fold about, I'm folding about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches over. It really just depends on how wide you want your pocket. So you can just take a look at it and see, is that too wide or not wide enough? And so then you just press all that down. So you can trim all this off. If it's bulky paper, you could trim all these edges off. So if it's bulky, you would trim this long piece in here off, and then you would take these pieces and fold them over the back. Hopefully that makes sense. But since I'm using dictionary paper and mine's so thin, I am not going to cut any of it off. I'm going to leave that bulk there to just kind of thicken up my pocket so it doesn't tear. Now I am going to go to the top here and fold this over just a little bit so that it, I'm off camera there, just so that it protects my pocket, you know, when I'm sliding things in and out. And then we're just going to come on the back here and we're just going to glue these flaps down. Using book pages for pockets, I think, is so much fun. Now we probably want to put a little glue in this part too, just to glue this little flap down so it's not flapping around. But when you glue it down to your page, it would be glued down as well. So there's our pocket. Now I like to come in and round the corners here. So I'm just going to use my corner rounder and just round the top corners. I might want the larger. I was using the smaller one, but I think I want the larger one. It is harder to trim the corners on thinner book pages like this. But here we have our library pocket. Now, did I make it too short? No, he could go there. Or we could put a flower there. Either one we go. I'm going to put the little guy there. So I'm going to put him maybe over to the side here. And then we'll find some wording to go with him. So let's see. Also with this one, we could put a butterfly at the top here too. But when you know, then when you have things tucked in here, you wouldn't see it. But when there's nothing in the pocket, you would see it. So I think I'll do that. Just going to add this little butterfly to the top. Kind of big, but that's okay. And then let's see. Let's do this one. Go where your heart takes you. I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces this time. Okay. Be sure we get them in the right order when we get them back on here. Go where your heart takes you. There we go. I like that. Okay, let's do one more, and this time we're going to use our flowers we cut off a book page. And so let me see if this back side is painted. So let's do another, let me think, maybe one of these. So we're just going to, once again, we can fold it in half long ways. I probably do it different each time, don't I? And then fold it in half from top to bottom. I said that wrong. Fold it in half from side to side and then from top to bottom. I said long ways, but that would be from top to bottom. And then we're just going to come in and we'll pull this flap all the way down here. And then this one, let's open it up. Actually, it's the one that goes all the way down. So then they would match up there. So then we're going to pull this one down. Not as far. Let's just, I like to turn it over there and make sure that I'm leaving enough and not too much. So just fold that down. And here we have another pocket. So now we just need to glue everything. So I'm going to glue this flap down. And I'm going to go back here and glue this one down because I didn't on the other one. I probably should have. And then we're going to run a line of glue just down the edge here. This is a bit grungy for what I typically do, but I do like doing things like this sometimes. I think it's fun. I did save the word that goes with the flower. I'm trying to decide, do I want to use that or do I want to use a saying? I'm not sure. But I do sometimes like to do grungy, and sometimes I like to do shabby chic, and I like to do a mixture of things. I don't like to limit myself to one style. Let's see if we find, let's see if we could put, where could we put there? Let's try this one. Live your dream with passion. I can cut it here. We'll see what that looks like. And we'll just add it on the side here. I like that. I do like that, and I like the flower. Now, like I said before, you could grungy this flower up. You could ink it up with some brown ink or whatever to kind of make it look more antiqued. But I like the pop of white. So this one, but like I said, this is a little different from what I normally do, but I had fun with this. I thought this was a very fun project. I love playing with paints and with my gel plate. Even though that wasn't the correct way to use a gel plate, I still enjoyed it. And I love this pocket. I love the colors and I didn't even plan this. I just started looking though. When I had my colors, I did go look to see if I could find a flower that would go with it. So then we have our pockets there. And actually when you glue this on a page, you could use that as a pocket as well. Okay, so we didn't use up all the butterflies, but I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at what we did create. And I think this probably gave you enough ideas and let you see each one. I don't know which one's my favorite. I do like this one with the flower. And then we have this one with this little boy. The little girl. I do love turquoise as well. Here's our library pocket. This paper is a bit thin. When I put it in the book, I may have to add a little. So I guess once you glue it to the page, though, it wouldn't matter because your pocket is here. And then this one is the one we added the lace, and we have all the pockets. And I like how these turned out. And like I said below, I will link, if you look in the description below, there's a little arrow or it says more. I will link to the freebie from Scrimping Mama. I always want to say Mama. Scrimping Mommy. And I will link to her. I'll also do at her channel so that you can, if you click on her name, you'll be able to go to her channel as well. And she sells digitals, and she has a lot of pretty things she creates. She's a very talented lady. So I wanted to just share hers. And now I think to download hers, I've done this several weeks ago and downloaded them. I think you have to be a part of her Facebook group. So that's what I'll link you to, and then it's easy to become a member of her Facebook group. So I will link to that. I like being a part of it because you can see all the projects that she creates, but others create as well that's in the group. And so that's a lot of fun to see them creating with her papers. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.